Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. This one is going to be specifically on my stats, on what they, well basically my stats in general and what they affect in the game. So, if you're having any trouble getting through the game and you think that maybe you're building your character wrong, well let's just go over it real quick. There's a few things that you gotta realize when you're building your stats, especially if you're going for a katana or spear build, or even dexterity, or your kusurigami. The thing is when you first start out in the first two regions, you kind of want to focus more on one skill over the other and just have your backup weapon mostly for helping you out against certain enemies where it'll affect them better, such as the ones that crawl on the ground that you really can't hit unless you go an overhead swing, or the spear is actually really good for that in the mid stance because you can still hit lower enemies with its basic attacks or its thrusting abilities. Anyway, we're going to go into how you should build your character, kind of. A big thing that you want to build throughout the game is spirit, so keep that about matched with, in the first two regions, keep that about matched with your other skill that you're building. Well, let's go for your katana in general. If you were going to build your katana first, which I built my spear first, but if you're going to build your katana first, you'd want to level heart. Now, when I was going through the first two regions, I didn't build magic at all. I was going through, I would kind of had my heart a little bit over the body, but I still, well, my body over the heart, but I still built heart to keep up and maintain with body. So once I got to the third region, it wasn't so hard to keep them about even. Which is good because I started using the katana a lot more in the third region than I did my spear, and I kind of use my spear for backup now. What you want to do though, despite building these certain, or that certain skill that you know under the stat where you're leveling it says which weapon you're going to be building or what it affects the most. Despite building that, make sure you level your spirit, of course, and another thing that you want to focus on is if you're using ninjutsu, make sure that you level dexterity, of course. And another thing is if you're doing other things, stamina and strength are pretty much key to leveling up or having different armor sets, and I want to show you that right now. So we're gonna go over to my equipment, and you'll notice that under my equipment at the very bottom in the middle screen you'll see body and strength required. So when you're doing these sorts of equipment, you're not going to get any of those special effects that you see on the armor are all going to be grayed out if you do not meet the required skills to wear it. And this is important because a lot of people, if you're not using heavy armor, you don't have to focus on strength too much, but strength still plays a key role in equipping other armor sets. You go down, you see the Western Warlord's armor, same thing, body strength, 9, 10. Now, if you didn't have these required stats on, you wouldn't get that damage reduction, you wouldn't get the extra defense, the VS for Yokai Realm, the gold earned. You wouldn't get any of that. And this, honestly, is going to help you out a lot in the game. You also really want to pay attention to the equipment weight that you're doing, because anything above 70% is going to weigh you down more and you're not going to be as fast. And if you go lower, you get into the light factor of the equipment rate, you'll be faster, which is good, but you have to be key on doing dodges and, you know, avoiding around them, because if you take a hit, you're not going to take it as well. I kind of found my middle approach by just doing medium weight, keeping it within the 55 to 70 range, kind of where I go. Now you'll notice that on some equipment sets, such as this one I have right now, it requires a skill setting. This is more for ninjas because you'll see unlimited ninjutsu, you'll see the head of Iga ninja, you'll see unlimited ammo, stuff that a ninja would use occasionally. These sets, if you hit L2, you'll see that you'll get these extra stats, which is damage reduction and ninjutsu items. After you finish your living weapon, they will come back with a 31% chance, which is good if you're obviously a ninja. I have to replace this gear because it's not something that I should be using, just because I don't level skill at all. So in general, when you're going through your playthrough, make sure that when you're equipping pieces of equipment, you don't want to go for ones that you can see red on the stat required, just because you're gonna want those special effects. They're gonna help you out a lot. And when you start seeing stuff like the heroic Raging Bull, like what I have on this one, I don't have a second set, but if you have 2 pieces or more of that specific item, you get even more bonuses, such as on the heroic or on this heroic Raging Bull, you get damage reduction and life on 2 pieces. You get close combat damage and damage reduction on 4 pieces. So this is kind of more for an more intricate build. If you're going for a specific set, it's good to have, you know, at least 2 pieces of one thing, of one skill. For weapons, you'll notice something that you should pay attention to when you're leveling certain weapons is the higher the stat on said skill for the weapon, the higher the attack is on the weapon itself. As you can see, this one's a 464, this one's a 460. This one is, well, 7 levels higher than my actual sword, but I have up my sword. It has a higher familiarity rating, so obviously the attack is going to be higher anyway, but the attack of this would probably be more around 400 if I didn't level it at all. Or, well, not 400, but a little bit less. It does affect your attack, and it does do just basically better. So just remember, and to keep it in mind, while you're leveling up your skills, make sure that you go and check to see if your equipment, even if it has a higher defensive multiplier, it might not be as good as one that has a slightly lower one, but has all the special effects for you to use. So once again, these are the stats I'm on. I'm on the 4th region right now, level 74. I have about 13 levels to go before I can continue on with the main story, but this is where I'm at right now. This build has gotten me to the 4th region. I started building magic around the 3rd region, and I honestly suggest, if you're not going to use ninjutsu, then to use magic, because your summoning spirit scrolls that you can get from the magic section will help you out a lot. They stun bosses, which is very helpful. They stun normal enemies, the ones that appear out of the purification zones that you can see. Those ones will help you out a lot, and if you have a certain element, such as fire, which is what I've been using a lot, the first fire spirit that you get causes burning damage if you get them dead on with it. You just gotta pay attention to the range that you use the summoning scrolls and whatnot with that. So yeah, that's my video of a short, simple walkthrough on what kind of stats you should be building, what you should focus on, what you should pay attention to while you're building these stats, because it is very intricate and it can get confusing and overwhelming. But if you pay attention to these things, it might be a little less overwhelming. You'll be able to get through things a lot easier. And don't forget to dodge. Obviously, even if you do all this, you're still going to have to dodge. You're still going to have to block. Just timing is important in this game. I'm sorry to say, but a build doesn't make the character. You still gotta pay attention, get your timing down. Not trying to criticize anyone, but that is a key factor of the game. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Hopefully this helps you out. If you guys have any suggestions, you want me to do any videos on any other things, go ahead, leave some comments in the comment section below, and I don't know, share it if you want. But hope this was helpful. Hope you enjoyed, and I will talk to you all later.